Oh, you found a worm. Found a worm, didn't you? Found all sorts of bugs. You guys can't see all the chickens that just ran up to the bottom of my feet. Oh, is that right, fat boy? There's Scott over here. Should get up and turn the camera down to where you get to see Fat Boy and Scott and all the rest of the gang. Anyway. Well, is that right, Fat Boy? You just like to do the cock-a-doodle-doo, don't you? Here's my rolling papers. And y'all, ain't it a beautiful sunshiny morning? I mean, we've been getting rain and cloudy, nasty weather and cold, and man, that's turning out to be a beautiful day. Last 3 days, man, I've been battling the same log that's on the sawmill. I don't think you can see it. I got it finally cut down to, it's like a 7.5 inches wide by 13 inches tall. Now I got to whittle it down into a bunch of 1x8s. It's been a hell of a battle. But anyways, none of that stuff's about what this video is about. What this video is about is people complaining about the changes of YouTube. It almost seems like an entitlement type of mentality to me. You know, YouTube has changed some rules and people haven't liked that. Well, here's my take on it. The federal government is always changing their rules. The state government is always changing their rules. Your local government is always changing their rules. NASCAR is always changing their rules. NFL is always changing their rules. And who are the people that's complaining? It's us people sitting right here at home. Not the players, not the drivers, not the politicians. Well, maybe the politicians. That's all they do is whine and fly and cry. I won't even get into the politicians. Businesses are always changing the rules. Some people are going to say, well, sure, you're still monetized. You didn't lose monetization. Boy, I just got through that close. I like to also think that if I hadn't have made it through for the monetization, that I would have just said, oh, well, I'm going to buckle down and do what I got to do to get there. I don't look at it. I wouldn't look at it as, oh, YouTube's picking on me. I'm just a small channel, therefore YouTube's picking on me. Think about the changes that YouTube has gone through and what YouTube platform, in my opinion, what it was created for. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, YouTube was created for the platform for creators. Not video makers, but for creators. To put their videos on out there. Get people to watch them and make a name for themselves. Put some real content on out there. Whether it be educational or comedy or, you know, just entertainment. In my opinion, it was never set up to be a social media. But YouTube has accepted their role as in this social media platform and allowing it. But I still don't think that's their main strive. Now these really big channels that a lot of people complain about, well, hell, a lot of those guys were here right at the beginning of time. They put their legwork in to get where they're at. Yeah, maybe they got monetized right off. I mean, it was a lot easier game. There was a lot fewer people competing for that airtime. And then some of those bigger channels started showing their checks that they were getting, and more people jumped on in. You know, and it keeps on whittling away at things. And it puts more pressure onto YouTube to keep their machines rolling well-oiled and keep things rolling along. Then you got people who jump in the game. You know, they ended up, before I got into it, they made it, well, if you're going to be monetized, you have to have 10,000 views, you know. And that's how I got into it. I got my 10,000 views. Then I got monetized. Now, the reason why they did that is they had already everybody and their brother saying, hey, I want to be monetized. And they'd get out there and they put 1 or 2 videos on out and then walk away and not do anything more. But they'd have their videos monetized. And so then YouTube was writing out little tiny checks and this and that, and they finally said, you know what, we only want people that are serious about, you know, getting content and having it watched. So we want you to have at least 10,000 views before you start doing that. Keep all this in mind. During that time, they wanted you to, the views were meant to be on content that you was creating that would attract more people to come to your channel. Well, then they got that 10,000 views, and they said, oh, a bunch of people says, well, you know what? I want to be monetized. So what I'm going to do is YouTube has set this platform out there that I can get on there, and I can get my views that way. And I don't have to make videos. All I got to do is sit on here and get all my views on live stream. And they're still not putting out content, but they get monetized. And so YouTube says, you know what, you gotta, they raise the standards up even higher. You know, and they said you gotta have, 1,000 subscribers to get monetized, and what, 240,000 hours or 240 hours, whatever it is of the watch time. Each time we try to outsmart YouTube, there's that next group that says, hey, you know what, I want to get in here and I want to get monetized for nothing. I don't want to do the legwork. So we find loopholes on how to get around the system. And we have to figure out ways, the YouTube has to figure out ways to slow that down, because it does overwhelm their system. And it's the same deal with NASCAR. You know, people will figure out, racers will figure out a way, just that little niche that gives them the advantage that nobody knows. And they even call it cheating. But like Dale Earnhardt Sr. said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So NASCAR has to create new rules and change things up even more. And so the drivers, they look for new ways to cheat. And so NASCAR creates some more rules. And on it goes, on and it goes. So, in my opinion, if you're doing the Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Dale Earnhardt thing, or the Richard Petty thing, Richard Petty and his BBs, you don't have a right to complain about when they change rules. And I never heard Richard Petty or Dale Earnhardt Sr. ever complain once about rule changes. They laughed it off. Folks, there's two ways to go. You can grow your channel organically, or you can try to skirt the rules and fight your way through and be a part of the reason why the system is changing. But don't complain about it. It's just life. With life always comes changes. That's one thing that will never stop, is change. Just remember, folks, if the girls don't find you handsome like me, they can find you handy like me. And if they don't find you handy like me, just pray that they find you. Y'all come back now, you hear? Bye! Dang cigarette keeps on going on out. I should take these clothes off and sunbathe for a while.